Welcome to Animated Discussions. My friends call me D, and today we're focusing on the woman whose sin was motherhood. The Kid by Charlie Chaplin follows the woman, a lady who just gave birth to a son out of wedlock. Terrified about her life and her prospects, she leaves her child in a car in the hopes that someone will give him a better life? Question mark? She comes to regret her decision and tries to get her kid back, only to find out that the car has been stolen and has no idea where her child is now. Enter a tramp, Charlie Chaplin's beloved character who finds the kid and through a series of silly hijinks is now suddenly the kid's father? The movie was made in 1921 and stars Charlie Chaplin, Edna Purviance, and Jack Coogan. For a quick opinion, the movie was super progressive for its time. It was made in 1921. And it talks about single motherhood and how hard it is for a mother to survive. That blew my mind. I was not ready for something from the roaring 20s to be about that. I thought it would be more of a taboo subject. I also don't know too much about social commentary and history during those decades, but I love anything that feels progressive to me. And for that time, that feels extremely progressive. So, kudos to Charlie for that.
Hey, good job, Joe.
I also think adding the man as a character was a great choice. We don't see a lot of stories that have a small focus on the father of the child. When we talk about single mother stories, sometimes the man will show up and he'll be like, I wasn't ready to be a dad, I'm not cool.
Too much work!
You have those moments, which, okay, whatever. But watching his internal struggle, I thought was really interesting. Realizing he wants to be an artist. He's still looking at photos of her longingly. And artists tend to be very sign driven people. If they see a sign, they follow it.
Nuh-uh.
And so watching him as the painting, the picture of her falls, and then he picks it up and he realizes it's already half burnt. He's like, I think that you should let it burn. I just thought that was really interesting. And then later we see him again once he's made it and she's made it, and that conversation about regret. I love showing his side of the story added a depth that we don't get to see that often.
Deep down, way down.
And I was really excited about witnessing that. I also think that even in that, he's only in the movie for 2 scenes, and that's enough. That's absolutely enough. That's all we needed of him, and it made everyone else's story richer, and I think it gave him a very interesting character arc very quickly, and whew.
Taking notes.
To me, the character development in the movie happens really fast and then almost not at all. When we see the tramp suddenly become a dad, he's manning up, but he stays the exact same way with his chaotic antics, you can see with the bottle he creates and how they have the scam when the kid grows up. It's just so interesting to me. We also see the mother give up her son, realize she wants a child, all within 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh, that's fast. Though once she becomes famous, we do see her start to take care of kids in the slums. And so I feel like that too is another form of her development of trying to take care of children in the hopes of seeing her kid. If we're really going to say someone developed the most, obviously the kid, because he grows 5 years. He's so cute. He's adorable. It's no wonder he was one of the top grossing actors of his time. He would go on to play Uncle Fester in The Addams Family.
And I'm a live wire too.
And he's the whole reason we have Hollywood child labor laws. Namely, his mom would not give him his money when he turned 18. It was a whole thing. He was so good. He was so good as an actor. When he was put in the truck to be taken to the orphanage, I felt his sadness, which is hard to watch a kid portray. He gave me Dakota Fanning or Abigail Breslin vibes when they were younger, how they were such good children actors. I also really like the chemistry between Coogan and Chaplin. I feel like it was very strong. The way that they interacted was great. It seemed like a father and son interacting, which I really enjoyed seeing. Performance-wise, Chaplin obviously is the king of clowndom. He's so good at physical comedy. But one thing that he does that I really appreciate is he'll also sell other people's actions. So someone will punch him and the punch won't look convincing, but the way that Charlie will react to it is like, oh wait, that does look like it hurt. I haven't watched any of his movies that he's full on directed, so this was the first one, and I really enjoyed watching his comedy. His poncho scene, something else that just made me laugh, is like that kind of creativity, like, oh no, there's a hole in my blanket, I guess I have an outfit now. Some of my favorite funny moments, one really sticks out, is when they asked Charlie or the tramp if that's his kid, and he's like, yeah, and they're like, what's their name? And he's like, and he has to check the baby's sex. It's really funny to me. It's such a dumb scene, but it like makes me laugh. I love comedy. I chuckle a lot in comedy. I have not like laughed out loud a lot in comedy in a while. Another scene I really like is it's an inner title where it just says Charlie gets all the dirt on him, and it just says, that is totally something that be said today. Absolutely. And I love it so much. I just love it.
Nice.
One scene that the woman did is my favorite scene of hers in the whole movie. It's when she runs into the man 5 years later and they're both successful, and now they're both invited to these parties where they're both successful. The way her face falls. I love acting. Seeing a scene like that just like shivers me timber. That's so dumb, but it really does. It makes me really excited.
Level 5, nerd alert.
Some of the big themes for the movie for me were the problem with government systems. For example, the charity hospital, how you're locked in and locked out. And I'm like, if this is a charity hospital, it should have open doors, right? The interactions that they have with the police and how it was just okay to just kidnap this kid from this guy who had been watching him for 5 years. That was not okay. Obviously, he didn't have papers, but also the woman had given up the kid. So it's not his fault. The orphanage, the Mr. Hannigan character, just like being insane. And obviously parts of it are comedy and parts of it are how they told stories back in the day. Like moments like that were just like, oh, this is a really interesting commentary on how government systems treat rich versus poor people and just treat people who need help in general. And it's so crazy watching these movies because a lot of stuff obviously like effects wise or things like that don't apply anymore. Like we have different ways we do effects, but the storyline and the themes hit still, and that's just crazy that we've hit this point where things like that still hit, you know? I also really like the question that was brought up is, can two people who are successful alone, could they be successful together? Because the man and the woman were both performers. The man abandoned the woman abandoned the child, and as a result, both of them became successful. If they had all three stayed together, would they have been successful? And I think that's a very interesting question. Is they're two very driven people, evidently, by their success, but now the question is, would they have been as driven, or did the trauma of leaving each other lead them to be driven? Would them being together have left them comfortable? That's a question. That's a deep question for me. I really thought at the end that we would see the man with her at her house, that maybe they reconciled and got married again. But that didn't happen, which is good.
Good, we like that.
Favorite shots. I have a few favorite shots. Some of these are pulled from the movie and some are pulled from Shot Deck. They're not sponsoring the show, but I view the images after every movie because they're amazing. When the woman is watching the wedding and she's near the church and she's holding the baby, like, what do I do? But there's like, she's right in front of the stained glass and there's this like halo from the stained glass circling her. I love that shot. I just think it's really cool. Gives her like a Mary, Mother of Jesus moment. Another thing that I really enjoyed were the vignettes in this scene when she's watching the married couple. I really love the way it draws the focus in. It's just like, look here, now look specifically at that, and look specifically at that. And you could just have cuts of them without vignettes, you know? But I think the vignette even pushes your eyesight even further into what Charlie wanted you to look at. And I really appreciate that. That's not something that happens a lot. I also don't know that I would have noticed this much if I hadn't seen Sinners recently. You guys know how I feel about Sinners. Obsessed. And what's interesting about that is I saw it in 70 millimeter in IMAX, and I didn't realize it was going to change the size of the movie periodically throughout the movie. And there was one scene, I had already seen the movie twice. There was one scene where my friend who hadn't seen it and I who had seen it, it was I forget what it's called when there's a black bar on the top and the bottom, but it looked like that. And then it cuts to the full screen and you just see the landscape. And me and my friend both at the same time went, just like audibly gasped, because it like made everything in your face in that scene. And it was, you felt like you were in the movie for a minute. It was really, really cool. And so realizing how much power changing the size of the screen in a movie could happen. I didn't know that I always thought that was like something like a no-no, you know, like that would be unprofessional. Who would do that? You know what I mean? So seeing that and seeing how much it made scenes hit and made you focus more and made you look specifically where the director wanted you to look, I thought that was an amazing tool that I've never considered in my life. And it makes me want to go back and see if there are other movies. So like seeing Sinners and then watching this and focusing on the vignettes, I think it was really cool seeing how something I felt like Coogler had taught me just from watching one of his films got to translate into me noticing something that I just would have been like, oh, that's weird. Why'd they do that here? You know? So I don't know. I just like it.
Brilliant.
Can we also talk about the way the robber was holding the child and pointing the gun at the kid? Listen, it's so funny to me. It's so stupid. I don't get why Jesus is here. He just shows up and then he disappears. And I'm like, cool. Thanks for stopping by.
I'm out of here.
I love the scene when the kid is trying to protect the tramp from getting hurt by the orphanage driver and director.
I'll smash it with a hammer.
It's so funny to me. Also, the last scene that I really like is reading the newspaper when the guy in the hotel is reading the newspaper about the kid. And there's a fly. And the fly just walks. And it just, for some reason, made the scene so real to me. I don't even know it was intentional. I don't even know if they just didn't have the budget to use more film because film's expensive. But it was just like, oh, this is an organic shot. This guy's just reading a newspaper. Like, it made it more realistic for me, having the fly there. I don't know. It's probably not even that deep, but I thought it was cool. I really liked it. So, trippy. And that's it for the movie. Honestly, I thought it had great storytelling, and I liked the honest commentary about how hard it was for a mother to have a child out of wedlock. I think on the list, I'm going to put it after Grave of the Firefly, so number 19. I think it scratched the surface of some really hard conversations, and I can see why it's in the top 100 of the list. It does not cut me as deeply, but I love the storytelling. I love seeing how Charlie handled directing some of the scenes. I think they were really funny to me. Yeah, so...
Remember to tip your waitresses.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good day. See ya.